Hello everyone, my name is Brendan and welcome to the Nerdy Things with Brendan channel. The holidays are coming up and for some people it's a tough time of year emotionally. The holidays can be challenging for an infinite number of reasons, and I wanted to make this video to try and help anyone struggling right now so they can have a good holiday season this year. I recently used Betterhelp.com, an online therapy option, and a lot of channels on YouTube recommend Betterhelp. I've seen a lot and they all say they use them. Now, it's possible they do, but it's hard to believe them with all the promotions they push. It's also hard to believe them when they are also paid to say it's good. But this one is not a promotion. I am not sponsored by BetterHelp. This is not an ad. I don't have a discount code, affiliate link, nothing. In fact, I no longer use BetterHelp, and I'll tell you why here. So a few months ago, I was going through a really stressful time at work. I can't say too much because I could get in trouble for what I say, but it just wasn't great. I dreaded work, I couldn't sleep or relax after work. I'd leave work feeling terrible and just thinking about it for hours. I felt like I was going to be fired almost every day. I had no other job options at the time, at least not viable ones. And I can't talk about that much either because it could go poorly, but basically work wasn't great. And on top of that stress, I often feel I have no friends. In high school, I thought I did. Then I grew up and realized that the guys I thought were my friends were really just bullies and only hurting me. And then my senior year, I tried out some new clubs and new things at school, and I made some amazing friends, and I truly love them. And they brought me so much joy, but then we all graduated, we went off to college, we got jobs, and we slowly stopped talking like many other friend groups. But I realized whenever we hung out that I was the one paying and driving people around. I was the one reaching out and making plans. And that particular feeling got really bad when I hung out with two friends over the course of 4 hours and they never once asked me how I was doing. And that particular day, I was doing pretty bad because a week before I had just found out my mom had breast cancer. And at the time, I just really wanted to talk to a friend about it. I just wanted some support. But I didn't want to just bring it up unless someone asked how I was doing. And I might get some criticism here from people saying, well, just tell them, ask to talk. But that's not the point. The point is, I just wanted friends that I felt like I could talk to, and I didn't have to be a burden bringing up my problems. We hung out for 4 hours. They talked about every conversation under the sun. But not once did they turn to me and say, so how are you doing? In time, I learned many of my friendships were very one-sided with me doing all the work, reaching out, making plans, getting together, driving people around, paying, and it left me wondering for a long time if I was the problem, if my expectations from my friends were just too high, or if they just weren't my friend. So I eventually stopped talking to those friends, and they never once reached out, and then I slowly lost contact with the others, and now I have very few left. I have some good friends left, but not a ton. But I was dealing with this and the stress at work at the time, and I thought I could just use some help. I didn't want to go in person, and I kept hearing about BetterHelp, so I figured I'd give it a try. And one thing I really liked about BetterHelp from the get-go is that you could message anytime, schedule a phone call or video call. It was very convenient. You could meet with a therapist however you liked. They ask you multiple questions when you first start out about your preferences. You can pick between a male or female therapist, pick between a religious or non-religious therapist, and all kinds of other things. Then you answer some questions about the issues you're dealing with, and soon you get matched with someone who specializes in your issues and matches your preferences. I myself got matched with a therapist within 24 hours, and at the time they said it could take up to 48 hours. But within a day, I was messaging a therapist and planning my first video meeting. My therapist was very good at consistently showing up on time, and she seemed to really care and take an interest in my well-being. We talked over the course of a few months and really worked through some issues I was experiencing. She assigned me some worksheets to answer questions, fill out some surveys, and occasionally gave me readings to review. One thing I really liked about BetterHelp is they offer smaller plans and financial aid. When you sign up for BetterHelp, there's different plans you can choose from, and essentially it's just picking how often you want to talk with your therapist and what methods. You can also apply for financial aid and get the same plans but at a reduced cost. You can then use your health insurance to pay or pay with a card. Another feature I thought was handy was the journal feature. You can journal on their website and make daily entries. You can then save and edit those entries. You also have the option to share the entries with your therapist or just keep them to yourself. BetterHelp also offers group therapy sessions based on the plan you pick. And I will say the group sessions are very niche. It was hard to find a group that I could fit in and was relevant for me. I myself was dealing with depression and anxiety, but the groups they had are almost every issue, like eating disorders, bipolar depression, and more. But some of these groups are very niche, like dealing with depression for a pregnant woman. I'm dealing with depression, but I'm not a pregnant woman. Some other group sessions at the time were dealing with anxiety as a black man, coming to terms with a loss, overcoming eating disorders, some really helpful stuff, but sometimes hard to find one you need or is relevant to you. And I eventually found one and I decided to give it a shot called Laughter Therapy. And I figured it would be jokes and stuff, but it was not. It was doing some really weird stuff to basically make yourself laugh, and it was really odd. Like odd, wacky stuff you don't want to do around others, and here you are doing it on camera in front of many strangers. Ultimately, it really just made me uncomfortable, so I actually changed my plan after that to one without the group sessions because I didn't really find them helpful. After a few months, my therapist and I were able to work through a lot of the issues bothering me. She taught me a lot and helped me feel better about myself and work. We created new ways of thinking and helped me reach the goals I had set at the start. We would check in weekly and I would take a survey almost monthly to see how I was feeling. After a few months, I felt so much better and the survey results were showing I was improving. I changed my plan to a lower tier to meet with my therapist bi-weekly instead of weekly, and eventually I felt like I was really just checking in with her but not really gaining much anymore. We had reached the goals I set at the beginning of therapy, and therapy was just a little costly and I could use that money each week. I knew what I had to do to now achieve my goals and feel better about myself, and ultimately I felt like we reached a point where I just didn't need therapy anymore. When we really built me up in those months to the point where I felt so much better about myself and life, even now months later after ending therapy, I feel so much better. Sometimes therapy lasts years, sometimes it's only a few weeks, months, but in my case it was really just teaching me how to reframe my thoughts, treating myself better, and going outside my comfort zone at times. Work improved due to outside forces, but that really helped. I still feel some of my friendships are one-sided, but my therapist had me reach out to some really good friends and stay in touch with them now, so I'm doing a lot better. I don't have a discount code or link or anything for you, but if you feel you need help this time of year, BetterHelp can help. And there's nothing wrong with therapy. Part of me felt like in starting therapy, it meant I already failed, but that's not even remotely true. It takes strength to ask for help and then to get help. It really does. It's a cliche, but everybody needs help sometimes. I really recommend BetterHelp. I've recommended it to my family and friends after doing it. I'm not getting paid to say that either, and I really wouldn't make this video unless I was getting paid or I thought it would help others. But like I said, not paid. I really do think this can help you though. If you're worried about price, check out those financial aid options or see if you can use your health insurance. I hope you guys have a stress-free end to the year and can enjoy the holiday. Thanks for listening and watching. I hope someone out there finds this helpful. Take care, everybody.